everybody. I am getting ready to start Reading Writing 2 week 26. So I'm glad you are here with me, and I wish I could see you, but I can't, and so I'll just pretend. I have to tell you ahead of time that I live near airplanes, and some days are quiet and some days are noisy, and today is a noisy day. So if I have to stop for a second to wait for the airplane to go over, then we'll just kind of hope you have some patience there. But we're getting started, first of all, like we usually do, with our writing. And you have been working hard on an essay, a 5-paragraph essay. And this is your third week to work on it, and this is going to be your final week to work on it because you're going to do a final draft. And you might be scratching your head and think, well, why do I have to keep writing this again and again? Well, that's part of writing. You've got to, when you write, you get an idea and you just kind of quick put down your ideas and start away on them, and then you go back a little bit later and you think, oh, that doesn't look good, or that's not spelled right, or that doesn't sound quite right. So you change it a little bit, and then you look at it, and that's called your rough draft. And then you read it again, and if it still needs some more changing, then you change some more things on it. And anytime anybody writes a paper or any kind of a book or anything, they have to rewrite it a bunch of times. But you're not going to have to rewrite it a bunch of times, just once. So today you're going to write your final draft, and you have a copy of your lesson, a lesson plan, as well as your packet on the web, so you can go ahead and pull that out for you, and so that you can follow along with me. Okay, so I'm going to show you. The first thing that you'll see is a piece of paper that looks kind of like this. Okay, and this looks kind of funny. It looks like some scribble scrabble because there is some scribble scrabble on it. But the reason I did this was to show you sort of how I would like your paper to look when it's done. So if you get out your blank piece of paper and go ahead and put your heading on it, as usual, put your name underneath it, put today's date, or whichever date, today's date, whatever day you're writing it, and then over here it's your writing. So okay, so, and I've already started it. I've put the very first sentence on there, and if you'll see, I indented it and then just wrote it all the way to the end, and then started on my next line. It took 2 lines. All right, so basically what I want you to do, if you can look at this, is the only reason I did this is of course you're not going to write paragraph 2, paragraph 3, all that. That's not part of your essay. But I wanted you to see how each time you start a new paragraph, you have to indent, just like you indented the first one. Okay, so you skip a line, you start your second paragraph, and you write it until it's all the way done being written, and then you skip a line and you start your third paragraph and indent a line. Okay, so you do that all the way down till you get to your 5th paragraph. Same thing, indent the line, write the whole paragraph, and you're done. Now there's a couple of things that I wanted to let you know about, though, and one I've already mentioned, and that is between each paragraph, would you please skip a line? And the reason you do that is because it really makes it look a lot neater. All right, and then also do not write on the bottom line either. All right, so you're not going to write all the way to the very bottom of your page. You're going to write until you get to the 2nd line of the bottom. All right, for the same reason that I just said, it just makes it look a lot neater. The other thing I would like you to remember is do not divide words at the end of the line. If you do not have enough room to write the whole word then on one line, then you need to go to the next line and write that word. Okay, no dividing words. The other thing is, since this is a final draft, There's not any cross-outs or squiggle marks or drawings or anything like that on it, okay? So if you make a mistake, you get out your eraser and you erase that mistake really well so that we can't see it, and then fix it, right? So that by the time you are done with this paper, it will be a beautiful piece of work for you. You know, it'll take more than one page. I'm sure it will. So go ahead, you can go ahead and work on that. It's just a matter of copying. I'm just wanting you to use this format. Okay, it's very important that you use this format. All right. This is an essay format, and you'll be doing this all the way through college. So now you know. So guess what? You can say to yourself, man, I just finished my first 5-paragraph essay. Yay, me. And give yourself a pat on the back and be so happy that you did that. I'm really happy for you. Can hardly wait. I can hardly wait to see what you've written. I know it'll be great. All right, now our next thing is our poem. And as usual, you know me, I like silly poems. So the poem this time is called Different Bicycles. And it's not super silly, but you do have to, it's kind of hard to see with the glare, isn't it? But you do have to kind of use your head a little bit to see what it's talking about. So I'm going to read the poem, and you can read it with me. It's called Different Bicycles, and it's by Dorothy W. Baruch. It says, when I ride my bicycle, I pedal and pedal, knees up, knees down, knees up, knees down. But when the boy next door rides his, it's whiz, a chuck, and away he goes with his knees steady straight in one place because his bicycle has a motor fastened on. What does that mean? What's a bicycle that has a motor fastened on? It's not really a bicycle, is it? It's a motorcycle. And so that's why on his bicycle, his legs go up and down and up and down and up and down like they do on a bicycle. But on a motorcycle, you just sit there with your legs straight out or down and don't do anything. So that's a difference. So do you have a bicycle, or do you have a bicycle with a motor on it? I think I know. I know which one I have, and it's not the one with the motor. Okay, let's go ahead and go on to our next thing. And we're just going to talk a little bit about your book that you're reading, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I wish I could talk to you a little bit more about it. It's such a, isn't it a neat book? I really like this book, as you can tell. And I have some questions for you about this book, though. Think about the 4 children that are in this book and what they have experienced so far. I want you to think about Aslan and think about the White Witch. And if you think about it, you know, this story can be just a regular fun story, a fantasy story, a make-believe story, and a lot of people, and that's just fine. It's a great book for that. But if you think about it, there are some things in it that sort of represent some things that are in real life. And so that's what I'm going to ask you about today. Think about Aslan. Who is Aslan in Narnia? What does he do? What is he like? And who do you think Aslan represents? Who's he like? Okay, then think about the White Witch. She makes it always winter, never Christmas. She doesn't... she's not very nice to her subjects, is she? Who do you think she represents? One thing for sure, she wants all the power, doesn't she? She wants the power over everything, the whole world of Narnia. But who really has all the power over all the world of Narnia? Well, it's Aslan, and she does not like Aslan. And you know, that's kind of the way it is in our world, isn't it? Who has control over our whole world. It's God, isn't it? And so we are really grateful that God has control because he's good. And Aslan is good, isn't he? And you'll read about that when they go, the kids go visit the beavers. So I am glad about that. Well, who does the White Witch represent? Well, I think the White Witch represents the devil, because the devil is the same kind of thing. He wants control over the whole world, and he's not very nice. He's wicked and he's sinful, and he doesn't treat his subjects very well. And he thinks that he's more powerful than he is, because you know what? God is really the one in charge. Okay, just like in Narnia, Aslan is really the one in charge, not the White Witch. All right. Sometimes when you're reading a book, and I think it depends on which book that you're reading, which edition you're reading, but even in The Lion and the Witch of the Wardrobe, it has illustrations in it. It has pictures in it. And we love to read books that have pictures in them. Some of them, when you were younger, most of your books had lots and lots of pictures in them. That's why they're sometimes called picture books. But as you get older, the books that you have don't have quite as many pictures in them. Sometimes they're just stick figures, and sometimes they're beautiful photographs, though. And why do you think that authors want to put pictures in their books? Why do you think so? Do you think it would make the book more interesting? I do. I think it would be more interesting to have pictures. It makes it, because the pictures can tell you a couple of things. They can tell you what a character looks like. They can tell you what the setting of a book is. Maybe what some of the buildings look like, or some of the trees, or the whatever. In Narnia, you'd see the woods. You'd want to see pictures of that to see what that looks like. You might want to see a picture of what the lantern looks like. You might want to see pictures of what Tumnus looks like. And it would be so nice to have pictures. And so we're glad that when authors write books, they also sometimes put pictures in them. You're going to make a page. It's called illustrations, which is the fancy word for pictures. You are going to make it a page that looks like this. All right? So what you're going to do first of all is get your piece of paper. It's going to be only one this time. You're going to get the piece of paper and you're going to cut it to the right size. You're going to cut it 7 inches wide, 9.5 inches long. That's this part. And so it'll be all ready for you to glue your piece on. All right, now you'll notice in your packet that there is a little girl one and there is a little boy one. So you choose which one you want. I chose a little girl because I'm a girl, okay? But you go ahead and choose what you want, and then we're going to write some things in each of these little bubbles like we usually do, okay? In fact, let's do that before you actually glue the page. All right. So, some of the things we've already talked about. So in one of my little clouds, I wrote, it helps you to picture the setting. And you can look on the papers that are in your packet, because it's right in there. You can look at it, okay? You don't have to worry about remembering it all this second on the video, okay? So it helps you picture the setting like we were talking about in the woods in Narnia, okay? And then over here I have put that it shows you what a character looks like. And again, especially in a fantasy like Narnia, who knows what a fawn looks like, or who knows what a centaur looks like, or it's really nice to have pictures of them. Like a fawn is a half person and a half goat. Well, who'd have thought about that? And then a centaur is a half person and half horse. And so it's nice to see pictures of those, to see what they look like. And of course, some of the dwarves, some of the important dwarves, it would be nice to sort of see what they look like. So So that's what's neat about the looking at the characters. Okay, and sometimes it shows important events in the plot. Okay, and you will see. I know in my copy of The Lions and the Witch in the Wardrobe, it shows the picture of when Edmund is meeting with the White Witch. It shows a picture of that meeting. Okay, so that kind of shows an important event of the that happens in the book. Or I mean, another important event would be when Lucy was looking into the wardrobe. That's a very important event because that's where it all started, isn't it? And you'll see pictures like that. And you know, a lot of the times pictures are just at the front of the beginning of the chapter, so you can sort of tell what that chapter is going to be like. All right. And then I have add information to the passage. So that is just, you know, sometimes words, you'd have to write a whole lot of words to show what you could show in one little picture. So that's really all that means. Sometimes you'd rather just have a picture than have to read all the words for it. Okay, so that's what that is. So what I'd like you to do is go ahead and fill out your composition page, and then you can put it all together. All right? Now, this is going to be a short class, so that's pretty much we're all done. But I wanted to tell you that if you look in the onto Renweb, your parents can look on it for you. There's on the same spot where your packets were all uploaded, there is a spot that has a link in it. It's on the right side of the page, and it's kind of it's a fun little link about one of the things that happens in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. It's just a short little clip, and you might enjoy that. Okay, so keep on reading, keep on writing, and I will see you next week. Okay, good to see y'all. Bye bye.